Hello and welcome to Tossin the Pigskin. I'm your host, Nate Smith. We are about to enter Week 8 of the 2019 NFL season. What a ride it's been so far. We'll start today's episode by recapping how last week went. And the simple answer is not great. 1-3-1 for Week 7. A very frustrating week. We are now at 15-18-2 on the year. Had some close losses, had some not so close losses, but it doesn't matter if it's by 1 point or 20. An L is an L, so I have to reevaluate and I have to get better. Going to take another crack at it this week, Week 8, with 5 more picks. Let's get it started. Pick number 1 for me this week. My book is not listing it at this time, and I know ESPN has taken it down. A lot of books don't have a line for this game right now. I'm referencing Seahawks versus the Falcons. My point here in saying this is I don't have a line to give. I'm recording this on Thursday morning. I don't have a line to give right now because it doesn't exist. But earlier this week, I saw Seahawks minus 3.5. I think the line is being held off because Matt Ryan's health, Falcons quarterback, is currently questionable. Not sure if he'll play in this game after suffering an ankle injury last Sunday. Even if he does play, I'm encouraging, well, you guys can do what you want, but for me, I'm going to be taking Seattle. I just think that this Seahawks team is really good. It's a really good team, and they're coming off a tough loss against the Ravens. The Hawks were at home for that one. The offense just didn't play well. I think the Seahawks get back on track here against one of the worst defenses in football. From a fantasy perspective, if you have Seahawks players, start them all this week. This Falcons defense is one of the worst in the league right now. Not quite sure how Dan Quinn still has a job. That being said, like I mentioned, even if Matt Ryan does play in this one, I think they'll make him uncomfortable. They'll blitz him a lot, try to get him out of the pocket, and there's no way he's going to be 100% even if he does play. So, barring that this line is absolutely insane, if it's not like crazy double digits, if it's like 10 or under, I'm probably on the Seahawks. So my pick here for this game is the Seahawks. Moving to pick number 2. The Eagles money line versus the Bills. I know. The Eagles just got destroyed by the Cowboys on national TV last week. I know. And that's part of the reason why I like them. The Birds are 3-4 on the year. As I mentioned, that atrocious loss to the Cowboys on Sunday night. The Bills are 5-1 somehow and play really good defense. This Buffalo D is number 3 in points per game allowed. And this Philly pass defense is horrible. But this Bills offense, specifically Josh Allen, doesn't really scare me. Buffalo is 21st in passing yards per game offensively and 28th in interception percentage, which, barring missing some plays due to an injury, I forget which week it was, most of those interceptions belong to Josh Allen, if not all. The Bills have good pieces on defense, but the Eagles have the better overall roster, and you also have to give the Eagles the edge in coaching. But most importantly, out of all of that, the Eagles are 3-4 and playing in the NFC East, where potentially 8 to 9 wins is going to win you that division. So they are by no means done for the year. By no means. I think they play desperate football, and to be honest, they just need the win more than the Bills do at this point in the season. They just do. I think they'll play that way. I like the Eagles here on the money line. Pick number 3 for me is the Broncos versus the Colts. Give me the Colts minus 6 here. The Colts are just a cool team, man. Nothing flashy. They just win. Jacoby Brissett is playing at a very high level. 326 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no picks last week against a good Houston Texans team. This Colts defense forced Watson into 2 picks. Looking at this game, though, the Broncos offense is at the bottom end of many offensive categories. Joe Flacco has been less than inspiring. Last time we saw him against the Chiefs, he looked like an absolute statue the last game the Broncos played. And this Colts defense is much better than this Chiefs defense, so that's cause for concern for Broncos fans here. Oh, and they traded their best offensive weapon, at least on the perimeter, in Emmanuel Sanders. He's gone now, off to the 49ers. I just expect the Colts to come out and honestly dominate this game from start to finish. The Colts have a legitimate shot in the AFC now, and I think they realize that. They probably didn't at the beginning of the year with Luck retiring right before the season, but this Colts team is solid. It's built well, good on offense, good on defense, good up front on both sides of the ball. I think they'll get pressure in Flacco's face, try to copy that game plan the Chiefs had because that worked very well. And as I mentioned, I believe this Colts defense is a hell of a lot better than that Chiefs defense, so let's roll, baby. Give me the Colts by a touchdown. Pick number 4 for me, Giants versus the Lions. I'll take the Lions -7 here. This is another home team with a decent-sized spread. Interesting thing about this game is both of these teams are coming off 3 straight losses. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. Not all losses are created equal. The Lions had a 1-point loss at Green Bay 2 weeks ago, and a lot of people think that the refs screwed them in that game. A lot of Detroit fans and just neutral fans that watch that game believe that Detroit should have won that game, and I'm not one to try not to blame the refs on an outcome because I believe most of the time it doesn't come down to one play. But yeah, the refs certainly didn't help the Lions, we'll just say that. But that being said, they left some points on the board in the red zone. They got to do a better job of converting into touchdowns. But that's a different story. Lions also had a 12-point home loss to Minnesota last week. For the Giants, they just lost to Arizona at home, Kyler Murray and those boys. The Lions need a win really badly. They're already falling very behind in the NFC North because of how well the Vikings and Packers are playing. We mentioned this a little bit with the Eagles earlier as far as coming into the game with a desperate mentality. I think this has got to be what the Lions do at this point. At this point in the season, they're already fighting for a wild card spot just because of how deep their division is right now. I trust Matt Patricia will have a solid defensive game plan. I think they're going to get after and confuse the rookie, Danny Dimes. And Detroit's passing attack has been really oppressive. Have a really solid receiving core headed by Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones. And this Giants defense just can't really stop anyone. Stafford's been playing well. Give me the Lions by a touchdown. This moves us to our last and final pick number 5. Give me the Packers -4 at the Chiefs. I took this really early on in the week. I believe I took it on Monday. The line has continued to climb. From what I first saw, it looked like it opened at Packers -3, and it's been continuously steamed by the public all week long, and for good reason. It's looking like Pat Mahomes won't play in this game. He shouldn't play in this game. I've seen some things that he's been practicing, which to me is asinine. Sit this man down. He is the franchise. He is the next 10 to 12 years of Kansas City Chiefs football, making them relevant. He should not be on the field at all. The man dislocated his kneecap, and he's already back at practice doing some things. I understand he's a tough guy, but Andy Reid and this coaching staff have to step up here and say, look, man, you got to be out at least, a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. It is worth it to me, and I think most people would agree, for Mahomes to fully heal before he's back on that field. So in my mind, there's no way Mahomes is on the field this week, despite some reports we may have seen. I just don't think it's going to happen, which means they're rolling with Matt Moore as their backup QB. Safe to say Matt Moore isn't great. This Packers defense has a pretty good pass rush with Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, the Smith brothers. I just think the Packers will make life uncomfortable. They will most likely come with an aggressive defensive game plan. Oh, and Aaron Rodgers is coming off of a 6-touchdown performance last week. Looks like him and Matt LaFleur may have finally unlocked this offense with all of its fury. For all those reasons, I believe the Packers win, honestly, by double digits. This Chiefs defense will be on the field a lot, and I don't think this Chiefs offense will be able to sustain drives without Patrick Mahomes. For that reason, give me the Packers -4. As always, thanks for watching. This was the Week 8 episode of Tossin the Pigskin. Last week was frustrating. Let's go 5-0 this week, huh? Why not us to copy Russell Westbrook? Anyways, NBA season is back. NFL is at the midway point. Let's hope for another winning week, and we'll see you guys next time.